Page 205, we're going to continue lesson 4.5 on writing and solving equations with rational numbers. So again, we're going to have some fractions and decimals and things here, and we've done that before, so we should be okay with that. So on 205, if we look at number 6, they want us to solve this equation. So solving these equations, we're always going to do the opposite operation. So over on the side with the variable on this problem, they are subtracting 2/3. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to add 2/3. We're going to add 2/3. We're going to do that on both sides of the equation, keep our equation balanced. So when we do that, they're going to cancel on the left side. On the right side, we're going to add these together. In order to add these together, though, we're going to have to get a common denominator. So 12 is going to be our common denominator for this problem. This is kind of our worst case scenario we talked about before. It always works if you multiply the denominators by each other. You're going to get a common denominator. It may not be the smallest one, but it will be a common denominator. So that'll give us 25 and 9/12 plus 8/12. So if we add those together, that's 25 and 17/12. Now the 17/12, that's a fraction greater than 1 or an improper fraction. So we're going to want to change that over. If you want to, you can just come over to the side here and divide that out. So that'll go in one time, and we have 5 left. So that's 1 and 5/12. So 1 and 5/12 plus the 25 that we had gives us a total of 26 and 5/12. So t equals 26 and 5/12 for number 6. If we look at number 7, again, trying to solve for the variable, trying to solve for f here. So this one, the variable is being divided by 2, so we're going to multiply by 2. They didn't give a whole lot of room there, so you can rewrite it if you want to, or you can squeeze it in if you like. When we multiply by 2, those will cancel out. The reason they cancel kind of is that if you multiplied, you get 2f over 2, and then 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1f is the same as f. You guys don't have to go through that process every time. We know what's going to happen every time the same way. So you can just cross them out and then just say we're going to be left with an f here. So we multiply straight across there. We've got 10/8. Again, that's a fraction greater than 1 or an improper fraction. So we can divide this out. 8 goes into 10 once. 10 minus 8 is 2. 2 left out of 8. And then 1 and 2/8 we can reduce to 1 and 1/4. So f equals 1 and 1/4. Okay? And again, all these problems, it's not going to be maybe as easy as some of them we've done before, but you can always still substitute that back into the equation, and it should work if you've done the problem correctly. So in this one, we could put 1 and 1/4 in place of f, and this should work. Okay, now that looks kind of weird, but if you change that over, keep change reciprocal, and there it is, 5/8. That's what we wanted. So again, if you have time, check your answers by substituting in. So if we look at number 9 next, 9 they've got written this way. It could be written like this also. That's how you'll normally see that written as you go on in math. So this one they're dividing, so we need to multiply. They're dividing by 5 and 5/10. We're going to multiply by 5 and 5/10. And then to multiply that out, so 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 1 is 41. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Don't forget your place value zeros. Also probably good to cross out your carried numbers. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 1 is 4. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. It should sound familiar because it's the same number we did on the other one. the numbers should be the same there except for your place value 0. So we need to move our decimal 2 places because we have a total of 2 numbers after the decimal points here. So starting at the end, move 2 spots to the left. The 0 there is optional. You could just write it as 100 and 1/10. And if you think about this just as an estimate, 18 and 2/10 times 5 and 5/10. It's kind of sort of close to 20 times 5, which is 100. So we should be in good shape with our answer for that one. So if we go to number 13, on 13, one difference, the variable's on the other side of the equation. If you want to switch that around, you can. So this one we could say that the variable is being multiplied by 3/8, so we can divide by 3/8. You can also do the reciprocal idea like the book did if you want. So the 9 we can put over 1 and then change reciprocal. If you want to, you can reduce the 3 and the 9 by a factor of 3 since we're multiplying. If not, just multiply straight across. And then when you divide that out, you should get 24. So 24 equals y, or y equals 24. And then finally, number 14, trying to solve for z. So they're adding, so we're going to subtract 1 3/4. Again, adding and subtracting, we have to have a common denominator. So again, our common denominator happens to be 12. So that would get us to 2 and 8/12 minus 1 and 9/12. The issue here, I can't do 8/12 minus 9/12. So if we borrow here, borrowing 1 whole, which is 12/12 plus our 8/12 gives us 20/12. And then if we subtract, that's going to be 11/12. So z equals 11/12. Workbook page 50, number 16. Sam needs 7.5 cups of orange juice to make punch for a group of friends. And she only has 5 1/3 cups. Write and solve an equation to represent how many more cups of orange juice Sam needs. Okay, so even though we might have an idea of how we would need to figure this problem out, they do ask that we write and solve an equation here. So at some point you're going to need to write something horizontally with an equal sign. So a couple ways we could do this. One way we could say she has 5 1/3 cups plus she needs some more. Don't use O for orange juice because that's going to look like a 0. If you want to do J for juice, you can. C for cups. Okay, whatever you want to use here. So that could be one equation. Another option, if you just thought out, oh, I just need to subtract them to get the answer. That's fine. To make it an equation, though, we could say 7.5 minus 5 1/3 equals J, or whatever your variable is. Okay. If you did the first equation, you can see they're adding, so you could subtract. And just like we've been doing, we would have to get a common denominator for that. So common denominator here would be 6. So we'd have 7 3/6 minus 5 2/6. So we subtract this, and that would be 2 1/6 cups. So 2 1/6 more cups is what she needs. Number 17, the winning team in a 400-meter relay race had a time of 198.608 seconds. Suppose all 4 of the split times were the same. Write and solve an equation to find the split times. Okay, so this is a relay race. So they hand the baton off to the next person and the next person runs. Probably not a real likely case here that everybody's got the same exact time as each other, but that's what they're saying is happening, so that's what we're going to do. So the total time was 198.608 seconds, and there were 4 runners, so you could take that divided by 4, and if you want to say equals T for time or whatever letter you want to use. Another way we could write that, we could say 4t equals 198.608. If that was the equation, we could say they're multiplying, so we could divide by 4, and notice we'll be doing the same thing. Okay, so this is what we need to do. We need to divide this out. When you go to divide this, make sure you bring your decimal point up. So 4 doesn't go into 1, 4 goes into 19 4 times, which is 16. Subtract, bring down your next number. So 4 times 9 is 36. Subtract is 2. Bring down your next number is 6. These arrows you don't have to draw, but it might help you to keep track of where you're at. Also, if you wanted to, you could use lined paper. Just turn it sideways, and then you can try to keep your numbers lined up that way also. So 6 times 4 times 6 is 24. Subtract is 2. Bring down the 0. 4 goes into 25 times. And then 4 times 2 is 8. So what that means is each runner ran 49.652 seconds for their leg of the race. Number 20, a bus left New York City and arrived in Philadelphia after 2 1/3 hours. From there, it took 1 3/4 hours to travel to Baltimore. It took another 5/6 of an hour to go from Baltimore to Washington. So if the bus arrived in Washington at 10:05 p.m., what time did it leave New York City? So we have a couple of options here. One option is we can add together all these times that it's taking and then subtract that from the 10:05 p.m. The other option, we could just work backward one step at a time and like figure out, 5/6 of an hour, how many minutes that is, and then we could back up that from 10:05 and then 1 3/4 hours, figure that out. It's probably less work though if we just go ahead and add all these times together. This one didn't ask that we write an equation, so we don't have to worry about that part of it. Okay, so we've got these 3 amounts of times. We are going to need to get a common denominator. When you guys do these problems, though, it's a good idea first to just check, just in case. Sometimes they will give you fractions that add up to 1. So if I see a 1/4 and a 3/4, that adds up to 1, then I may not even have to worry about getting a common denominator. Okay, this one, that's not the case, so we're going to have to go ahead and go with it, getting a common denominator, but be on the lookout for that as well. So 12 would be a denominator that would work for all 3 of these. So first fraction, we would have to multiply those by 4. Second one multiplied by 3, and last one by 2. I'm just going to rewrite my whole problem here. Sometimes if you just try and rewrite the fraction part, it can get confusing on what's happening. So the fraction parts added together would be 23/12, and then 2 plus 1 is 3. 23/12 is definitely greater than 1 or an improper fraction, so we can divide that. 12 goes into 23 one time, and then we have 11 left out of 12. So we have 3 plus this 1 and 11/12 altogether would be 4 and 11/12. That's 4 and 11/12 hours. I'm still not quite there because I don't know how to subtract 4 and 11/12 hours from a given time. So we know for minutes there's 60 minutes in an hour. So one way of doing this would be to get that denominator to a 60. So if you take 12 times 5, that'll get us to 60. And that tells me this is 4 and 55/60 hours, which means 4 hours and 55 minutes. All right. So it's 4 hours and 55 minutes altogether that it took. And they got there at 10:05 p.m. So 10:05 p.m. we want to take away 4 hours and 55 minutes from that. When you subtract times like this, it works just a little bit different because it's kind of like if I'm subtracting, I can't do 5 minutes minus 55 minutes, but we could borrow an hour. Borrowing an hour is like 60 minutes. Plus I already had 5 minutes there. That would be like 65 minutes. And now I can subtract, and that's going to be my starting time. So if we subtract that, that is 5:10 p.m. as our starting time. Okay, and again, there's different ways you could do it. You could count backwards. You could count back 4 hours. You could say, going back, it'd be 9:05, 8:05, 7:05, 6:05, and then we have to take away 55 minutes from that, and then just keep working your way back until you get to that point. So this gives you an idea of how to write and solve equations with rational numbers.